Hi everyone, it's Chris Littlefield from Acknowledgeworks. Imagine what it would be like that if before it got crazy this year, your team, department, or organization as a whole all sat down to brainstorm and put a plan in place of how they were going to build and maintain the relationships and culture they needed to produce extraordinary results this year. Today, I'm going to share everything you need to do just that. Everything you need to do just that. Regardless of the field or sector that you work in, there's most likely some sort of result that your team, department, or organization are out to accomplish in the coming months. Maybe it's providing an extraordinary restaurant experience, amazing patient care, increase sales by a certain % by the end of the year, or sell a certain number of products. Whatever that result may be, this process is about engaging the people that are going to produce that result in designing a process that will keep them engaged and motivated throughout the year. Now there's 3 parts to this process. Part 1, a personal reflection activity. Part 2, a team brainstorm activity. And Part 3, what I call strategic scheduling. Now to get the handouts of this process, if you receive my Welcome Interruption newsletter, you get them in this week's message. And if not, you can go to acknowledgementworks.com/culture brainstorm. Once you've downloaded the handouts, simply print out enough copies of the personal and team brainstorm worksheets for everyone who will be in attendance, grab some post-it notes, some pens, a pair of scissors, and you're ready to go. Now jumpstart the process by introducing the context of the activity. You may say, hey, I saw this video the other day, or I saw this activity, and I thought it'd be a really good idea to try it with our team. I realize that most of the time we're reactive instead of proactive when it comes to taking care of ourselves and designing the structures for us to be successful. So here's what I want to do. Next, give people the personal brainstorm worksheet and give them about 15-20 minutes to fill it out. Let them know ahead of time that this is just for them. No one's going to be collecting it or looking at it, and they're only going to share what they want to share with the rest of the group. Give them an opportunity to think about what projects or topics do they want to work on in the next year. What skills do they want to develop or improve? How do they want to grow professionally over the next year, and how do they want to grow personally? On the bottom, you'll find a calendar of the year. This is an opportunity for people to reflect on, what does my year typically look like? Are there major deliverables that stress me out at a certain point during the year? Are there extremely busy times and extremely slow times? Are there certain vacations that I'm going to have throughout the year, to be able to note those down, to look at what are their ebbs and flows throughout the year so they're aware of it when it comes to the strategic scheduling part of the process. Now that you've given everybody an opportunity to get present to how they want to grow and develop both personally and professionally over the next year, it's time to move on to the team brainstorming activity. Next, hand everybody a copy of the team brainstorm worksheet and create a giant model of the worksheet up in front of the room. Next, have everybody think for a minute and just brainstorm on their own. What are some of the things that they did last year that they would love to do again this year? What are some of the things that we haven't done in the past that you'd love to do? And have them think about that through a few different areas. How do you want to learn and grow together? Do you want to organize workshops, attend conferences, watch TED Talks, book clubs, share interesting articles? And have them think about the formal ways and the informal ways that you can do that. How do you want to laugh and play together? Maybe it's going to laser tag, happy hour, having an improv class, or sharing YouTube videos of kittens with one another. How do you want to rest and rejuvenate with one another? Maybe it's lunchtime yoga classes or going for walking meetings. Maybe it's having a rule that we don't send each other emails on the weekend. Or maybe it's having a 1-minute meditation in the beginning of some of our meetings. Okay? How do we want to celebrate and appreciate one another? Maybe it's having an appreciation breakfast or a gratitude wall. Maybe it's starting meetings with shout outs to people in other departments or clients that we love working with. Maybe it's organizing a training to train people in the art of acknowledgement engagement. Now, once everybody's generated the ideas and transferred them to post notes and put them up in the front of the room, have people share what they wrote. I guarantee as they share, you'll generate even more activities and also great memories as well. Hey, you remember last year when we had that amazing retreat? Do you remember that time when you had to eat the whipped cream pie? That was hilarious. Where is that picture, by the way? Not only will people get present to the team building they did in the previous year, the growth and development from the previous year, but they'll generate ideas of what they want to do in the year ahead. Okay? After you've got that giant pool of activities, take a minute to step back and do some strategic scheduling. Now, before you jump into throwing things on the calendar, what you want to do is think about, when are we going to get the biggest return for the action? When are we going to need this the most? Have everybody think for a minute. What are our busiest times of year? When are the times where we have big events that everybody's all hands are on deck? Do you have a national conference that you organize each year? Or do you have an audit where certain departments have a really high workload at that time? Now think about what would make the biggest difference before or after those events. Maybe it's time to set time to connect and reflect after the event. Maybe we need to make sure that we put a employee appreciation session in right after that giant national conference to make sure that people get recognized for the hard work they did during it. Maybe in that busiest time during audit, we need to structure something to make sure that we stop and take time to laugh and play. We also, maybe when it's a busy time in the year or a slower time of year, we structure some learning and growth opportunities when things are slower. So it's about thinking about when are our busiest times, when would certain activities have the biggest return for us, and what are we going to need in those moments. Then after you have that conversation, start putting things on the schedule, put a plan in place, and have an extraordinary year. What I love about this process is in a matter of an hour, hour and a half, you've engaged all your employees in a personal reflection process to think about how they want to learn and grow over the year. You've generated an abundance of ideas that they're invested in, that they've planned and scheduled, that they say are going to support them to stay engaged and be at their best throughout the year. And in the process, you also send a message to your people saying, I value your opinion, I value you, and my goal is to build an organizational culture that supports you to be at your best. Now, what an amazingly powerful way to start the year. I hope you use the exercise. If you have any questions, please let me know. Please sign up for the Welcome Interruption newsletter to get more future activities, and I look forward to staying in touch. Do something every day to ensure your people feel valued. Take care.